And in Washington, we've got jury deliberations resuming in the attempted honor killing case for defendants Ihsan and Zahra Ali. The jury set to return at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And that is, of course, our top story for you this morning. The jury deliberating the fate of those married defendants for more than 13 hours' time, and not without suspense either. This altercation right here is what sits at the center of this case. Ihsan and Zahra Ali are both facing charges of second-degree attempted murder for the attack on their daughter. And prosecutors say it all erupted after they discovered their daughter Fatima had run away from their home to try to avoid moving to Iraq. That was set to happen that very same day. Now, on Wednesday, the jury deliberated for about 8 hours' time before presenting a question to the court. It was read by the judge in front of the parties. Take a listen.
Legal authority wasn't defined for count 3, instruction 34. What is the definition of legal authority? Signed by the presiding juror. My proposed answer is please refer to and reread the jury instructions. Ms. Stone, any objection to that response?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Kading?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. O'Leary?
Objection.
I believe that this is the answer that Mr. Leary told the jury that they might receive if they had a question.
So what could this legal authority question mean for the case? Let's read the tea leaves a little bit. Let's bring in our outstanding legal analyst guests, attorneys John Phillips and Michael J. Brown. Good morning to you both. All right, John, let me begin with you here, please. What did you think when you heard that question?
You know, that's the core of the case, right? So you got a lot of things on either side that's going to determine, the power of a parent to restrain a child, where the legal authority, where the power to act is. I'm sure Michael can, as a fantastic criminal defense attorney, can get down into the weeds. But, from my understanding, it's the power to do what you want to do. And the defense is, okay, we have religious freedom. You have the ability to discipline your child. That's within our, legal authority. And on the other side, it's she was being choked almost to the point of seizure. The father was being warned, stop, she's passing out. All the one-way ticket stuff, the honor killing, that far surpasses the legal authority. That ventures onto the murder. So, it's the whole crux of the case, as kind of everybody predicted in the beginning. Which side is the jury going to fall? And they're like, well, wait, I think we got to understand this concept to understand which way, we need to rule.
Sure. I know. Appreciate those points, John. Thank you. Michael J. Brown, to you next, please. Which side do you think could perhaps be encouraged by this question?
Good morning, Julie. Good morning, John. First of all, I love judges when they deal with jury questions because they never give answers. They're so afraid of getting reversed and they just say, refer back to what I told you. But having said that, John's on point. The issue here is it's not strangers. If it was a stranger relationship, I think it would be different. There's a different standard that the jury needs to apply, and that's because you're dealing with parental controls over a minor. It's a different viewpoint. It's a different look. And parents can do more than the stranger in terms of, as you indicated and John said, disciplining the child, having them follow directions. And ultimately, it's going to hinge on the intent. And quite frankly, and we can get into this more, I don't think the intent is there. I think and the defense did a good job in the sense of focusing on parents are trying to control their child. They may have went overboard, but it certainly doesn't rise to the level of an attempted murder.
I really appreciate those points too. Michael, thank you for that. Let's go back to what the daughter, the victim, Fatima Ali, said. I want to direct your attention to a question on cross asked about her mother, and this goes to mom's potential culpability. Here we go.
You have shared with the police and with others that you felt like your mom wasn't trying to hurt you. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Your mom is just there holding you as you regain consciousness, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I see some nods there. All right, so in terms of mom's culpability or lack of culpability, Michael J. Brown, do you think mom could be what the jury is mainly stuck on here?
I don't know because they could have came back with a verdict as to one defendant and still been deliberating about the other. But I think the mother is clearly less culpable. And those are magic words that the daughter were elicited from her in the sense that she doesn't believe the mother had any intent to injure her. And I think it's clear from the video, Julie, that the father was the orchestrator of this entire incident. The mother was secondhand. And, the acting in concert or accessory liability theory, if that's what they're going on, I don't know if it's going to rise to that level. The mother's involvement is very limited. And I think by having the main witness, the complainant, indicate that she doesn't think the mother is responsible or had that intent, is going to go a far distance in this.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I think that between those two defense attorneys, I think mom's attorney has a better shot at winning this case here, especially because mom isn't acting in the video. I'm not saying she's not culpable. I'm not saying the state wasn't right to charge her too. John Phillips, I was telling my colleagues, I wonder what mom's life is like in that house, because I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think this was the first time that violence was used by one family member here toward another. I mean, for him to do that in broad daylight with a bunch of people around, it just, I would wonder how that child grew up. Mom, too, I wonder if she's under his thumb a bit and under control from him. I would love your thoughts on that, please, John.
Yeah, you get heavy into the religious and cultural significance here, and there is a difference, right? There is a difference in how kind of American women are versus some from the Middle East, and the rights they have and the religious freedoms they have, and how the man rules the house. The laws over there are very different, and we would say sexist over here, and so there is that. And the defense did a good job in pointing out, look, don't look at this as you're, almost golden ruling the jury. Don't look at this like the PTA mom. Like you gotta judge them by who they are. But, one thing that's always sat uneasy with me is the fact they did charge the mom. If the jury has to come back double guilty, they have to worry about that daughter even more. You're going to essentially take both parents away from her, and the prosecution might could have gone a little bit easier and tried to find a plea deal for mom, and made dad the focus, but here we are.
Mm-hmm. Right, John. Yeah, I know that's what I would have done if I was that prosecutor. I'd try to get her to flip on him, and maybe they did. It's one of those things we would love to know. I'm glad you brought that up, John, because we'll ask if we ever get a chance to find out when this is said and done. Let's look at the verdict form. So we got a hold of the verdict form, and I just have this feeling that it may be mom that they may be more stuck on here. And so we understand they've got 16 pages to go through here. We can just take a glance at it. Michael J. Brown, tell me, in terms of mom and her culpability or lack thereof. So we know she didn't stop it. So looking at this, we know she did not rescue her daughter and jump in and try. We know it was the boyfriend, Isaiah, who was doing that. She was standing by. We know she was kind of hysterical. Fatima testified that after the fact she was trying to comfort her. Do you think from the outset that it was, looking at this as a former prosecutor, that it was proper to charge her in that she drove there with dad, presumably knowing that this was going to be the plan? They were trying to force her to go to Iraq, force her to marry some strange man, some older man that she didn't know. What do you think? Just kind of backing up a bit, do you think they should even have brought the case against Zahra Ali?
Yeah, great question. And John hit the nail on the head. If I had to guess here, Julie, they tried in the worst way to get mom to cooperate, assist them in the prosecution of her husband. And because of that cultural difference, there's no way she was going to say anything about her husband because of that control and the dominance by the male in their particular culture. So now you're left with a situation where you don't want to let mom run free because she can take the stand and basically assist the husband. So they really were kind of backed in a corner, and you and I have been there on cases in our prosecutorial careers. So I think what they had is no other option but to charge mom, let the chips fall where they may, but not give her the opportunity to help the husband at trial. So I don't think she had that level of responsibility, but I don't think the prosecution had much other choice, really.
Such excellent analysis from you both. As per usual, Michael J. Brown, John Phillips, stand by kindly, please. We're going to hit our first break of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk about the media storm surrounding Ghislaine Maxwell.